The Philadelphia Phillies are doing exactly what they needed to do in this massive NL East showdown against their division rival New York Mets here in this 4-game home series at Citizens Bank Park after a nail-biting, close 1-0 shutout victory over the Mets with Aaron Nola on the mound back on Monday in the series opener. The Phillies got a pretty commanding win, 9-3, I believe it was, 9-2, 9-3, on Tuesday with a dominant performance by Ranger Suarez. He struck out a career-high 12 batters in his 6th innings. And then last night, on Wednesday night, Christopher Sanchez had a great start of his own, following up Aaron Nola's great start Monday, Ranger Suarez' great start Tuesday. Christopher Sanchez gets the job done, and the Phillies had their second straight commanding victory over the New York Mets last night and Wednesday. They won that ball game 11-3. Great pitching. Offense was good these past 2 games. Great to see overall in this huge series by the Phillies. They definitely have stepped up here with really the biggest series of the season. They now lead this 4-game series against the Mets 3-0 heading into today, Thursday night's series finale of this 4-game series, trying to go for this 4-game sweep. If they don't, they still won that series 3-1, and they did exactly what they needed to do, winning this series. I said beforehand they needed to at least split the series 2-2. They already are up 3-0 with the chance to go for a 4-game sweep, or at the very least a 3-1 series victory. So great job out of the Phillies this series against the Mets, taking care of business. They now have a commanding 10-game lead over the Mets in the National League East. The magic number to clinch the National League East for the 2nd consecutive season is down to 7. Jesus Luzardo on the mound tonight for the Phillies in the series finale here of this 4-game series. 7:15 start time. I believe it's on Fox, so national TV. Again, hopefully we are talking about a 4-game Phillies sweep of the New York Mets. If not, again, they still won the series 3-1. You can't be mad about that. Welcome to Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Henley. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Now, the Phillies offense did great in Tuesday's ball game, and they did that great again yesterday, Wednesday night's 3rd game of the series, that 11-3 victory. It was a close game through the first 4 innings. The Phillies had just a 2-1 lead over the Mets after 4 innings, and then middle of the innings, they just broke it wide open, specifically in the 6th inning. But first, in the 5th inning, the Phillies did score 2 runs in that inning to take a 4-1 lead at the time. And then 4 runs, 6th inning by the Phillies offense, took an 8-1 lead after 6 innings. And that's really all they needed. The Mets obviously only scored 3 runs late in the ball game. And the Phillies went on to score 3 more runs to win that ball game 11-3. So great job again by the Phillies offense, breaking it open there after a tight ball game through the first 4 innings. Breathing room for Christopher Sanchez, breathing room for the bullpen when they came in, and that's exactly what you need to do against a good team like the Mets when you're trying to win these ball games, especially come playoff time in October. Great when your offense can score runs, especially early on, to give that pitching staff some breathing room and more comfortability there going along in the rest of the ball game. So the Phillies offense got the job done yesterday and the day before. Great stuff to see out of them. Hopefully they keep that going tonight in this series finale and moving forward through these last couple series of the regular season and straight into October baseball for the playoffs. Now, the Phillies' biggest strength behind the bullpen for pretty much all of 2025, what everybody was talking about was the outfield. Inconsistency in the outfield, both defensively at times and especially at offense through much of the season. But now all of a sudden, the Phillies offense has turned into honestly a strength of this team. Maybe their biggest strength right now, or it's pretty close to their strength of their starting pitching. As of late, the Phillies outfield has been getting the job done for the team, and they're helping this team win ball games. Specifically, last night in the 11-3 victory, the outfield went bonkers in the offense for them. Harrison Bader in the leadoff role for the 2nd consecutive game with Trey Turner out on the IL with that hamstring injury. Harrison Bader went 2 for 5 with a double versus the Mets. He's been having multi-hit games left and right. He's been going crazy since the Phillies traded for him back at the trade deadline from the Minnesota Twins. Brandon Marsh, 3 for 5 with an RBI double and an RBI single last night in that 11-3 victory over the Mets. He's also been red hot for the Phillies these last couple of months, and especially recently over these last few games and weeks. Max Kepler, we all know, failed signing in the offseason, the veteran from the Twins. He really stunk through much of the season, but all of a sudden, Harrison Bader is swinging a very good and a very hot bat for the Phillies. He was 3 for 4 last night in that win over the Mets with a solo home run and he had 5 RBIs yesterday in that game alone for the Phillies. Now, Harrison Bader, I mentioned, has been doing very well since the Phillies traded for him. He's batting .336 with the Phillies since he was traded to the team, and he's batting .429 here through the early parts of September. That is incredible. .429. I know there hasn't been too many games, but still, a .429 batting average, .336 since being traded to the Phillies back at the end of July into early August. Brandon Marsh, he struggled earlier in the season. He was 0 for 29 in the month of April, but he has had a massive turnaround since then. He has a .542 batting average here in September. Again, not many games so far in September, but still, a .542 batting average is nuts. That is insane. Great stuff by Brandon Marsh. A complete turnaround for his season. And I mentioned he was 0 for 29 in April. His batting average is pretty low earlier in the season. With his massive hot streak here at the plate offensively for the Phillies, he has his 2025 batting average, can't talk today, up to .287. Again, complete turnaround for Brandon Marsh. He is nearing the 300 mark here on the season, heading into the end of the regular season. So, great stuff out of the Phillies outfield. And I mentioned Max Kepler as well. Didn't look good through much of the season. In fact, he was very bad through the month of July, so most of 2025. The fans wanted him gone. They had enough of Max Kepler, but he's been working hard. He's put his head down, and he's helping this team win ball games here as of late. After that month of July, he had a .273 batting average in the month of August, way better than his previous months all season long. .273 is nothing to slouch at. That is a very good average for any player at the major league level for a month. And now in September again, early parts of September, we're only here on September 11th, but through the early parts of September, Max Kepler has a .320 batting average with 8 RBIs, including those 5 RBIs last night in the win over the Mets on Wednesday. So far here in this month. So again, a complete turnaround by the veteran there, just like Brandon Marsh. Phillies outfield looking really good offensively. They play really good defensive well. Nick Castellanos, we can also throw in there. He was having a very good season through most of 2025. One of the Phillies' better and more consistent hitters through half of the season, a little bit more than half of the season. He had he was up over a .280 batting average after the month of June. And then July and August, he kind of went pretty cold, but however, he is playing a lot better here in September. Not playing every day anymore with Brandon Marsh, with Harrison Bader. Red hot, you can't take their bats out of the lineup. Max Kepler even, he's been kind of platooning with those guys, and Nick Castellanos now in right field as well, but you also can't really take his bat out of the lineup. He's been doing really well for the Phillies as well offensively, but Nick Castellanos, he does have some games here and there that he is playing. He did not play last night in the 11-3 victory over the Mets. He was on the bench, but he has a 4-game hitting streak here in the month of September with 2 extra base hits and 4 RBIs, so he's also maybe looking to turn things around at the plate, and now the Phillies outfield, that was a big weakness for the team earlier in the season, is a huge strength for the team here heading into the final couple of weeks of the regular season and hopefully right into October baseball. They got to keep it up, but right now it's very impressive, especially for how the unit looked earlier in the season. Now, I mentioned starting pitching has also obviously been probably their strength all year long. Just an elite starting rotation between Zach Wheeler before he went down with his injury and out for the season, Aaron Nola, Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo, Taijuan Walker's been pitching pretty well as well here in 2025. But recently, especially with the loss of Zach Wheeler, these guys needed to step up, and they have been doing that. The Phillies starting pitching has been dominant, particularly in this 4-game, or I should say the first 3 games of this 4-game series against the New York Mets. The Phillies starting pitching has been dominant. They've allowed just 1 earned run through 18 innings pitched in this 3 games so far in the first 3 games of this 4-game series against the Mets, and that 1 run came in last night's ball game. Christopher Sanchez allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings against the Mets. So 1 earned run between 18 innings pitched between Aaron Nola, Ranger Suarez, and Christopher Sanchez. Hopefully Jesus Luzardo can continue that trend tonight and wrap up this 4-game series with a complete sweep of the Mets right out of South Philadelphia. But Christopher Sanchez, last night in the victory over the Mets, 6 innings, 4 hits, just the 1 walk, the 1 earned run, and 6 strikeouts, plus the win. So he was dominant like his 2 other fellow starting pitchers there, Aaron Nola and Ranger Suarez. They've all really been pitching good as of late. Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez all season long. Jesus Luzardo Really good start to the season, a little bit inconsistency through the middle of the season, and now as of late, he's been pitching really well as well. Taijuan Walker, when he's in there, he has some up and downs, but compared to last year, very good for the Phillies there in the starting rotation. Aaron Nola has something to build off of here as well with that start on Monday against the Mets, so hopefully he can get back to where we all know he can be. He obviously used to be the ace of the rotation, one of the better pitchers of the National League, Major League Baseball, so hopefully he can just get at least back to close to that status. He looked like it on Monday. Something to build on. Speaking of starting pitching, the Phillies' top prospect overall, Andrew Painter, pitched yesterday for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. He hasn't really had the season we all hope for, the organization has hoped for. He has even hoped for here in 2025 after coming back from that Tommy John surgery that made him miss 2 seasons of pitching. He's still a young kid, still really talented. Hard to come back from that injury. Everybody comes back at their own pace. He's shown some good flashes. He's shown some bad things as well. But yesterday in his start, something to be excited about. Arguably his best start of 2025 in AAA for the Iron Pigs. He went 5 innings, allowed just 3 hits, no walks, which is huge for Andrew Painter. He struggled in that category all season long. No earned runs, so 5 shutout innings for Andrew Painter, 6 strikeouts, and he picked up the win. Now, again, I said he had struggled with allowing walks here in 2025. He had allowed 2 or more walks, a couple of games where he's allowed 4 walks in 8 consecutive starts before yesterday's start that he had for the Iron Pigs. So that way too many walks. You can't be allowing that many free passes, but 0 walks in that win for him yesterday on Wednesday down there in AAA, and it was his third shutout start in AAA here in 2025. We're unlikely to see him here with there only being 15 or so games left of the regular season in the playoffs here in 2025 at the Major League level, but something to build on for him heading into the offseason and trying to make the Phillies starting rotation, which he probably will in 2026. Something to be excited about. He looked good. Obviously an up and down season for him coming back from this injury, but still very exciting stuff out of Andrew Painter. He is extremely talented, and he has the potential to be an elite starting pitcher at the Major League level. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies here in the series finale against the New York Mets. 7:15 start on Fox, I believe. Phillies are trying to sweep their rivals right out of Philadelphia, just like the Mets swept them a few weeks ago up at Citi Field. Taking care of business, 10-game lead in the NL East heading into tonight's ballgame. Magic number at 7 to clinch the division. Jesus Luzardo is going to try to make those numbers even better for his team. Hopefully the offense can keep things going, and we're just talking about another huge series win, huge win overall in tomorrow's video. Again, thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Phils.